Hello, welcome to STMA Youth Wrestling Season 2020-2021. My name is Josh Sherman. I'm the head coach for our high school program here. And I just wanted to go through and give you a brief little introduction into what you could be expecting, not only for the wrestling season, but also this upcoming year. So just a real quick synopsis here about our past tradition. You can see here some different places that we've had in the state. You can see state champions for 8 times, state runner-up, state third place, state fourth place, as well as a few different rankings within the nation. I put this picture up here to see some of our past success, but also just to see the type of connection that we have K-12. A lot of these individuals started as they were kindergartners within our program. And so our general program goals here is to build lifelong champions. I always like to pull up this Forbes data about why wrestlers make the best employees. It's a nice little article that goes through, and it was written back in 2012, but it's still prevalent today here. The goal about being within the wrestling room is obviously to get better on the mat, learn the sport, develop new techniques, build lasting friendships, but it's also to expand on our overall skills for our future lifelong careers. And so our goal within this program here is to provide a fun experience. In the last few years here, we've had over 160 kids participating within our K-6 program to teach good sportsmanship and then develop skills in the sport of wrestling that also translate to life off the mat. Are you new to wrestling? Did your child want to try this out? If that's you, great. That's awesome. Let's keep it simple. So as you come into the practice room here, get ready for practice, have fun. And that's kind of what our goal is here for most youth individuals that are starting to try this out. Go to practice, stay if you can, and watch Learn with your child. This would be a little bit difficult during our current Phase 1 circumstances, but in the future, we'd strongly encourage you. If your child wants to go to any of the tournaments, great. Right now that we'll have some different team tournaments. Typically, we'll have individual tournaments as well, but due to our current circumstances, at this time, there's none scheduled. But in the future, something to keep in mind of. And if they do not want to compete, that's all right too. Our goal is just to have individuals here to try the sport out and do what's best what they think for them. Within our St. Michael Albertville Knights wrestling page. So if you go into our St. Michael Albertville Knights high school page, go into varsity wrestling, you can go through and find our youth wrestling information. So when you click on this, you'll go to more, and then you can see as you scroll down our youth wrestling. And so on that main page here, there's just different updates for our high school program here, but then here provides different information here about our youth season. So this is our community ed season that you can find right now. And as you scroll to the bottom here, you'll also be able to see some different guidelines and protocols for our current year, as well as a Wrestling 101 guide for new families and a Wrestling 101 video for those families who are potentially new to the sport and looking for some additional information. And so these are all different great tips here for individuals. Again, if you decide to go to tournaments, great. There's going to be lots of helpful parents around that can help provide helpful information. Our club will typically help to sponsor different coaches to attend these meets. And if you have any questions, just don't be afraid to ask. You'll see that our youth coordinator, BJ Mariotti, will be available, and you can always reach out to him, as well as you're always welcome to reach out to myself or find any other parent wearing STMA wrestling, and they'd be more than happy to help answer questions. Our goal is to help to make sure that this is an easy, smooth transition for all families as they participate within the sport and get to learn with their child. So just some different fun facts for us here. If you look at, we have been traditionally the largest city-specific youth wrestling organization in the state. Last year we had over 250 wrestlers program-wide and 160 of those in K-6. We will ask you to volunteer. One thing that we truly believe is that by volunteering, you're able to establish some of those great connections. I know for me, when I was growing up, I started wrestling when I was 5 years old, and some of the different connections that I built along the way here helped to keep me in the sport, as well as helped to make it a positive experience. Some of the individuals that I wrestled with when I was that age here, I'm still in contact with today, and some of them are still on our coaching staff. And I know that my parents are definitely still very involved and still keep in contact with a lot of the parents that they met from back then. Typically, STMA runs 2 opens that help to fund our programs here, and these are the big volunteer ones. The STMA Open, which we won't be, unfortunately, able to have this year, and then the Brawl, which is scheduled for this time here, January 24th. Keep your eyes and ears out for that. We will ask you to volunteer for that. It is, again, a great opportunity just to make those connections and get to know the sport and program a little more. And a little fun fact on that one here, it is traditionally the world's largest youth wrestling city program event. And so it's been a pretty cool experience that we've been able to be a part of, not only for our program, but also for the sport. So just a real quick little overview here for part 1. You'll see kindergartens here, Mondays, first and second grade on Tuesdays, and then third and sixth grade on Thursdays. So a little bit of change, as you might be aware of here. We're just condensing down to 1 day a week for the first part here. And then when we get into the second season here, we'll start to ramp up a little bit more of the technique parts of it here, help it those individuals who are still competing, as well as continue to provide a fun experience for all. But so right now, we'll be on 1 day a week here. Traditionally, we have 2 days a week, but just with our current year here, we're reduced back down to 1. So when we get into part 2 here, at this current time, we're still expecting to have 2 days a week. We'll see kindergarten, first and second grade on those Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then third through sixth grade on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. And you can see that first and second grade will go to middle school west, which is our old high school, and then our third through sixth grade here will practice at the high school here. Tournaments, for those individuals that are interested again in tournaments here, we'll provide different information and different emailings throughout the course of the time and year here. So far, you can go onto the Guillotine and you can see some different information at some different tournaments that are posted. There's team again and individual. Right now, we're going to be focused on team, as that's what's allowed under our current circumstances. So our team tournaments then, our goal is to provide an opportunity for wrestlers to participate in an event. Right now we're looking at potentially bringing some different teams here and having a duel or a try, which would be between 2 or 3 teams here, kind of highlight it out and provide just a nice, affordable, easy way to get kids matches and be able to compete, because honestly that's kind of the fun part of the sport as well. And so our team competitions will start from December into March. Usually we have our regions and then follow it into our districts and then into the state tournament. This year it's going to be, again, a little bit different, and we'll see how it goes, but we're hoping for to still have a state tournament that kind of culminates the whole youth season at the end, and it's a pretty fun experience. Usually it's down in Rochester. They bring teams in from all over the state, and there's cheering and excitement, and kids are getting after it, and it's a lot of fun. Our coaches for this team has been Travis Mills, Mike Schultz, BJ Mariotti, and Mike Thorne. Some of them are former STMA alumni here that are coming back again to help coach. They'll be there for most of the K6 tournaments. BJ Mariotti is going to be our youth coordinator this year, and he'll also help to organize attendance at other team tournaments throughout the season. And so I'd like to bring up this slide here. And so this slide here, again, is just kind of a zoomed in photo from our team this past year at the state tournament. We ended up taking third place in the state. And you can see some of these different individuals. And I like to point this out because, again, it establishes those types of connections that you can see as they go through these youth programs. These individuals oftentimes started when they're very young, brought their friends in, and you can see they're still around today. For example, these two gentlemen here, David Thorne and Joe Grielko, are STMA graduates, went on to wrestle at the U of M, and again, started building up through our youth program here. You can see some of these other individuals here that have been around for many, many years. Coach Johnny Luer, Coach Jesse Hackemuller, Coach Ryan Rostemo, Coach Sean Little, and then our former head coach, Dan LaFay. All these individuals, again, have started working through the youth program and continuing to build their way up, as well as many of these different individuals that you will see within the program here. For example, I'll highlight Wyatt Lidberg, who's holding this trophy here. Wyatt is a graduate from STMA that graduated last year and is now moving on to the University of Mary. And Wyatt Lidberg, you can also see here. Again, you can see a lot of these same individuals here as they continue to progress their way up. A lot of these individuals, you can point out, were just in that last picture here. Individuals such as Carl Luer, you can see yelling and screaming. And these individuals, again, they're building those lasting connections as they continue to work their way up through our program. Future training opportunities. So here at STMA, we'll offer those Part 1 and Part 2 community ed seasons here. Part 1 will go from November till December, and this is what you are in right now. And then January through early March here, we'll offer our extended season, our Part 2 part of it here. And again, that's just kind of amping up a little bit of the intensity, but more so driven on higher technique and advancing the technique as we go through. For individuals that are looking for any additional opportunities, Grind Wrestling is a new wrestling club that is nearby here. Coach is ran by Olympian Jake Deichler. Jake Deichler does a great job. Helped coach our kindergarten program last year here. Now has helped to start his own program that is located, I believe, in Loretto, Minnesota. And then Coach David Thorne also runs different Thorne camps. Thorne Wrestling has been around for the last few years and is kind of one of the more renowned camps within the state and within the nation. Just another great opportunity for individuals that are looking for more training opportunities. Within our social media accounts here, again, you can see a different variety of ones. We have our youth wrestling attached with our high school on that activities page. You'll see youth wrestling Facebook, where they'll post different information, post different results, maybe post gear opportunities, maybe post who's going to where, carpooling opportunities. Again, it's just a nice little community atmosphere. Last few years here, we've also posted out a newsletter, which you can see a sample in over here. And this newsletter just provides different upcomings, what's going on, what's new, what has happened in the past, maybe highlight a few results, and so forth and so forth. For apparel, this year they're running it through STMA Wrestling, and it'll be a part of Lazar Graphics for a local apparel shop. This apparel store is set to be closing on November 12th. And then we'll also have some different apparel stores. If you look at STMA Wrestling, for example, on Facebook, you'll find additional STMA Wrestling apparel throughout the year. If you're interested in purchasing any additional apparel for your athlete just to compete, all that we ask is that an individual should show up with clean shoes, clean shirt, and clean shorts. And those shoes can be street shoes just as long as they're clean. Some individuals you'll see show up in wrestling shoes, which is great. We'll have a used bin that'll go around in the next coming weeks here where individuals can borrow it, and we just ask to return it after they're done with it. Otherwise, if you'd like to purchase your own pair, I know that kids grow fast, and so some of the easy ways to do it would be looking through like Facebook Marketplace, would be looking through like Craigslist, would be looking at Play It Again Sports. Those are some great ones. If you're interested in purchasing new wrestling shoes here, Dick's Sporting Goods usually has a decent selection. You can also look at Amazon, Eastbay, as well as JR Wrestling Products. For hygiene here, again, we just ask that individuals show up with clean shoes, clean shirt, and clean shorts each and every day here. We ask that individuals, as soon as they get home, shower. Just from the nature of the sport with heavy contact, it's important that individuals wash their hair and body after each and every wrestling practice. We'll have our custodial staff mopping the mats to make sure that they're clean at the middle school west as well as at the high school. And then we ask that, especially this year here, that individuals wear masks and then hand sanitize as they're coming in, and then they bring their own individual water bottles. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask the coaches for any additional consideration. We put this up here again just to kind of highlight that brawl tournament that we talked about before. It is a large tournament here, and you'll be seeing a lot of different emails asking for volunteers. And again, that weekend will be January 24th, and it's a great opportunity just to get to know other parents, get to know the sport a little bit, and to get to see a pretty cool venue. So here is our STMA Youth Wrestling contact list for the overall wrestling program. Again, my name is Josh Dorman. I'm the head wrestling coach for our STMA wrestling program. Youth coordinator for this year is now BJ Mariotti. Our brawl tournament coordinators here is Tim Millsna and John Davis. For apparel, we'll have Jen Robidoux. For our team coaches, Travis Mills, Mike Schultz, BJ Mariotti, and Mike Thorne again. And for our K3, as of now, it'll be BJ Mariotti. Our treasurer for our wrestling club is John Davis and Keith Damer. And then our travel and lodging coordinator will be Steph Mariotti. In summary, just a quick recap about what this whole STMA wrestling program thing is about. Traditionally, we have great numbers, and usually that's because individuals usually have a great experience with it. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't be afraid to reach out again to BJ Mariotti, the youth coordinator, or even myself or any of the other coaches that you may see working at the different practices. We have phenomenal coaching going throughout our program. A lot of the different coaches that you would see working the programs, their name is up on our wall as either state champions, all-state members, or they've been working through a variety of different programs. And so we've been able and fortunate enough to keep a lot of alumni and to continue on building our STMA wrestling family. If you have any questions, again, ask. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here for helping. Our goal is to improve and have fun doing it for these practices. And then our overall program goal, again, is to build lifelong champions. That's why we push the sport so much, and that we are a true believer in the sport of wrestling. It's because it helps to prepare individuals for success down whatever avenue they choose long after they're done competing. So if you do have any questions, again, don't be afraid to reach out. Other than that, thank you for choosing to be a part of STMA Wrestling, and we look forward to a great season.